All right, what's good, people? This is S. Foster, and you are tuned into another episode of 28 Minutes or Less. And today, got a special guest on here today, man. This is a guy I've known for long time, man. Old high school days, man. You know what I'm saying? Goes by the name of Nathaniel Goddard, but I call him Nate. I know him as Nate. So, man, what's good with you, man? How you been?
Man, I've been good, just like everybody else, trying to make it through. Got some different times than what we've seen before, so just keeping our heads up, keeping going. That's all we can do.
Oh, yes, sir, man. That's all I'm doing, man. I'm taking the punches while they rolling. And one thing I like to do, man, I was saying it to you a little earlier, man. So like little background, like for the people that don't know, I've known you since let me see, because I met you in US history class. Mr. Fleming. Shout out to Mr. Fleming. And I was a senior at the time and you was a freshman. And for the people that might think that I'm stupid, that US history is an elective. You can take that at any time in high school. So it wasn't no situation where I was in a freshman class or anything like that. So so I met you in there, man. And like so, you know what I'm saying, we started talking, you know, hanging out, little stuff like that. And there was a situation that ended up happening. And dude, it was so hilarious. I was thinking about that today. And so I was actually, and I would love to like the other side of it because we never really talked about this situation after it happened. So I was
It
at
was
my
one of those times
homeboys.
that
Oh yeah, man. I was actually at, and rest in peace to them. I was actually at my homeboys, Mark and not Mark, but Mike and Corey. Mike and Corey Jones. Man, rest in peace to them. But I was actually over at their house. It was me, him, with them two, Jermaine, and you know Jermaine, and it
oh,
was a couple other guys. And so you called me, and you was like, "Yo," you was like, "These Blue Ridge dudes, man, tripping." And I was like, "Man, what happened?" And he was like, "So you was messing around with this girl, and the girl had a boyfriend, and she found out about you. Well, he found out about you, and then like the thing, and this is how I explained it to people, right? Because I told people, I said, look, I was like, Nate is a white dude. I said, but if you talk to Nate on the phone, I said he kind of sounds like a black dude, right? And I was like, you would know if you never seen the dude. And so
uh,
you was telling me, you was like, yo, like the dude got on the phone, all this little crazy shit, and he was like, yo, if you want to be a real nigga, you know what I'm saying, bring a real nigga, some kind of shit like that. And so you was like, yo, like you down because we about to meet these dudes. So I'm like, bet. So I tell all the dudes, like we all, you know what I'm saying, we jump in a couple of cars, and it was so funny because I don't even know how Charlotte even got involved, but like me and Jermaine ended up getting in the car with Charlotte, and Carlos was there, Carlos Bennett was there, and like so we roll up, and we probably like 3 or 4 cars deep, and we think we got a lot of people, and then these dudes roll up in a pickup truck, and it's like 20 dudes. Hey man, it was so I don't know what happened on your end, but what ended up happening to me was because a dude walked up to Carlos. Well, Carlos actually, for people that don't know, Carlos is probably like what 5'7", if that. Like he's he's not a tall guy, but he's muscular, and he goes up to the biggest guy and punches him dead in the face. And so then everybody kind of backed up, and then this one guy comes to me and he pulls a knife on me, and so I'm like, yo, so you gonna pull a knife on me? And so then, like, before I can even make a move, then all of a sudden I heard police. And so, like, everybody jump in the cars, and then we just end up leaving. So I never really threw a blow or anything. But what ended up happening with you and this dude, man?
so my wife makes fun of me for this all the time. We've talked about this multiple times. Somehow I got lucky enough to pick out a really, really big dude, and I guess lucky for him, wasn't lucky for me, man. I, I ended up with some bumps and bruises that night, man. And come to find out later on down the road, that was one of the people over there that you didn't want to pick out. But if I remember correctly, I was looking for somebody in particular, probably the guy we were talking to on the phone, and he threw a drink at me and hit me in the head. So that was my initiation for that little battle, but it didn't end very
Oh,
well for me.
oh man, oh man. So basically, it wasn't worth it.
Nah, nah, it's a memory, right? We're all still here, so
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
dude, man. Those were the times, man. I tell people that story, and I was like, yo, that's the one time where I can look back in my history and be like, that wasn't the smartest idea to do
No,
that. But I was like, man, I want to hold you down though, man, because like you was like, man, you was a cool dude, man, and it was just like when you called me for my help, and I was just like, yo, I'm here for you, and so I went out there and see. But the thing with that school, we always beef with that school anyway. Like
yeah,
that was a
yeah,
couple of like racial stuff that ended up happening. The whole incident that happened with Chad, during the
yeah,
basketball games, some dudes called him the N word during the game, and then that went over to Applebee's, and then we ended
yeah.
up getting thrown out of Applebee's. So it had been a whole little thing. I tell people, I was like, dude, it was in the newspaper and everything. Like for people
Yeah,
that's not from
we
around
had
here, and I would tell them that story.
yeah we had issues with them on the soccer field too, with just total issues. Like I remember playing them for 3 years straight, where it was basically pretty much a brawl. I'm talking parents and everything after every soccer game. Most people pretty much wouldn't know that. Nobody watched soccer, but I was on the team, so. But yeah, I mean, it was issues, and after all that, my wife is from Blue Ridge. She went to Blue Ridge.
Oh man. So she probably heard about it then.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why she picked on you about it.
I didn't meet her until after high school, but she knew who I was from stuff like that. Yeah. So.
Oh man, so she didn't have the best impression of you from
Oh
the
no,
beginning.
no. In the beginning, she hated me. The first day we met, she hated me. She'll tell you that straight up. I had to work on her a bit.
um, hey, that's what you gotta do, man. Hey, if it's something that you want, man, you gotta put that work in, man. You was able to flip her, so that's
That's what.
what's up, man. Congratulations on that, and congratulations on the child. I know it's older now, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But I haven't talked to you.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
another thing, yeah, man. Another thing is, people don't know because you one of those type dudes, man. And I appreciate stuff like this because like everything don't have to be in front of people's eyes. You know what I'm saying? And like, I went through, some stuff a couple of years ago. People, I think that the assumption is that people think that when I was going through a lot of the things that I was going through, I think some people think it was because of the breakup that I went through, because I had, broke up with my ex-wife or whatnot. And it wasn't even really that. It was stuff that transpired after that like kind of, put me in this hole. It wasn't really like, the marriage thing. It was some stuff that happened after that. And like the shit really like, what I'm saying, fucked me up. And you was one of the people, man. And it wasn't a lot of people. There was a few people who did, but like every once in a while, you was one of those dudes who just, reached out to me through Messenger. Yo, you all right? I'm like, yo, I'm good. You like just checking on you, like little shit like that, man. I appreciate that. I wanted to say it publicly, how that little stuff like that, man, it means a lot, man. I wanted to thank you on the podcast and say I appreciate you doing things like that.
No problem, man. That's what people are for.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. And but but everybody didn't do that. Like
No,
people that people that I hung out with heavily, like in high school, like some of them never even reached out and even said anything. But just for you to do that, and then not only that, but like really be like supporting the podcast and stuff like that, because this is a field that is not really. I think it's new to some people, but at the same time, it's like it's just one of those things where when it comes to support, like it's really hard to get. And, for somebody like you to, give me that support and give me feedback on the podcast and stuff like that, man, you're a real one for that one.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, going back just a little bit, everybody has struggles. Not just you, not just me, but a lot of times we find out that when people kind of, in a sense, not necessarily make the exact struggle known, but let known that there's something on the mind. I mean, that's a key sign to a decent individual, that these people just reach out. That way they know that somebody's out there in case they need them. And I've seen a lot of, I've needed help in the past, and I've seen a lot of people that needed help with a lot of different things. It could be minor or major, but things that affect people differently. And if you just reach out, people need people. So if you just reach out, then they'll know that somebody is there in case they really do feel like they need to reach back to them for whatever reason. So, I mean, that's just people need people, man. It's a simple concept.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. But the thing is, what's always simple to some is not simple to all. You know what I'm saying? And like it's just one of those things where like like the easiest thing to say is like, yo, it just takes common sense. But then when you get older, you see that common sense ain't so common. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So it's an easy phrase to say, but it's not always the easiest thing for people to do.
A lot
And
of times
something else that I want. Oh, you
a
got
lot
it.
of
You got
times
it.
it takes experience for somebody to go through a struggle and realize how bad they need people. And in my case, I've been through a few struggles. Well, in those times, you need people, and if you don't get people, or if you do get people, you see what it does for you, and then that's your opportunity to know, hey, I needed people. So, if somebody hasn't had one of those struggles where they felt like they needed somebody before, they may not realize how real that need is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Because, like, cause I thought that like, oh man, I'm good. Like, I don't need nobody and all that type stuff. But then, like, when it's people to reach out to you and the unexpected one, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was unexpected, and then like it'll be like a day where it was like, I haven't heard nothing from anybody, and it'll just be out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Messenger will pop up, and it would be you. That's some real shit, man. And you hit me up, and I seen, because I be seeing, I be watching, I might not comment on things and things like that, but I seen that you was, and you had some things in development, and you reached out to me one day, and you was just like, congratulations on the, because I mentioned that we was going into the fourth year of the Stolen Time podcast, and you was like, you said something that threw me off, and you said that I kind of motivated you to chase your dreams, and you getting into real estate. So how did that even happen? Because I don't think you're a guy that would just say something if you didn't mean it.
Well, I mean, it's simple. Somebody reached out to me yesterday on Messenger, and it was an old friend from high school, female. She is a self-employed person,
Mhm.
and I've always had the mindset of wanting to be an entrepreneur and build something for myself, something that hopefully will be successful enough to leave for the kids or beyond that, and to be able to spend more time in the community and stuff like that. And running a 9 to 5, or which I know you don't run a 9 to 5, or you probably run like a 9 to 11 p.m. or something like that, driving that truck. But you don't have all that time. But if you learn to be successful in a shorter period of time of the day, you can do other things to impact people, help people, or whatever. So, I mean, just seeing you working full time, and like there's a lot of people that are around me, or that I see through social media, like you and stuff, that still make the time to start that journey of doing something for yourself. So it's kind of like I call them the go-getters. That's what I told her. I've envied the go-getters for a long time, and it was just like, I'd be mad if I didn't try. So here I am trying. All you go-getters are doing it, so why shouldn't I, if that's something that I really want to do? So
That's what's up. So how did that process start? What made you say, yo, I want to get into real estate and be a broker?
real estate wasn't even a thought until just a few months before you saw that I became a real estate agent. There was another thing that I've been practicing for about 5 years, getting involved with the stock market. Been practicing it for a
Hmm.
really long time, and I wanted to make that my full time, because successfully, if that's a full time thing, then I'll have a lot of time to give to my family and other people. So that was my main goal. And when I went full time with that back in I think July or August, I realized now, since I've been treating patients for a decade, I'm missing out on people time. I'm the type of person
Mhm.
that needs people. So I said, you know what? There was always a little itch in the back of my head for something about real estate. So let's give it a shot. So I hit the online school, did all the schooling online, took my test, passed it, and come to find out, I'm really enjoying it. And I mean, right now with real estate in our area, you can imagine it's really busy. So I'm putting more hours in than I thought I would, which is okay. It's fun. I can still do the other stuff that I want to do because a lot of times many folks aren't ready to see a house before 12 p.m. anyway, and I can do a lot of my other work that I was wanting to do before then. So once the kids get put in school each morning and stuff like that, it gives me several hours to get that kind of thing done and then start talking with clients and potential clients on the real estate market. So, like I said, I ended up liking it a lot more than what I knew I would. Not that I didn't think I wasn't going to like it, but it's turned out to be a really good mix of self-employment in both ways. So,
That's what's up, man. At the end of the podcast, I want you to shout out, you know what I'm saying, where you working, all that type stuff. But something
okay.
else I wanted to mention was I actually was in the same grade with your brother. And your brother is like people really do not understand like how talented your brother is. Like I've been seeing your brother art for like years because like I say, I've known your brother before I knew you. And like, so
Yeah.
how's your brother? How's it going with all his art, man? Like, is he like selling his art now or anything?
Man, I try to push his art for him. At times it feels like he's gonna be really excited to hear you say that too. I'm gonna make sure that he listens. He does it. He loves to do it. He does it as a hobby. It should be way more than a hobby. I think we both could agree. He's amazing at
Yeah.
it. It's just one of those things, man. He does it when I think it's kind of one of those things. Some people go to music when they need me time, and some people go outdoors or whatever. I think for him, that's his me time, and at this rate, as much as I try to push him to get involved in using that as some type of successful means, he's pretty laid back with it. Quite amazing at what he does, but just so laid back with it. And I can only push him so much, but I do every time I see his work. I'm like, dude, yeah, he works in construction. He's in the construction field. He's really good at what he does in the construction field, and he does like to be out there doing that. But man, I'll tell you what, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and in construction, like he's messing with his hands. His hands is valuable, man. He can't be messing up his hands out there, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, his stuff is dope. I be seeing the stuff you be posting, and I be like, man, that dude is still talented, man. Like, cause I remember like he's been drawing for a long time, and we've
yeah,
had a couple of classes here and there together, and I had to mention it, man, because like man, Noah got some talent, man, and I think that people need to recognize like how talented it was, but I think that also like with you being an entrepreneur like you are, like you would be the perfect person to try to talk him into doing that. Like I don't think anybody else could probably plant that seed in his head other than you. I think you get through him. I think you get through at some point.
entrepreneurship, man. It's the same for me as it is for you. And you started your podcast because of your mindset. It's a true mindset. So there's entrepreneurs, there's people that support entrepreneurs, and there's people that don't believe in entrepreneurs. So you
Yeah.
know that's all there is to it. I can't really tell you why people don't support them, and some instances it seems like well, if I can't do it, I don't want them to do it or something. But um, first they got to believe in themselves, man. That's what it comes down to. So.
Oh, for sure. Have to. But man, so how COVID been treating you, man? We've been. I can't even call it locked down, but I mean, it's been. Let's just say it's been funny, man. It's been going on a year now. Where things has
Mhm.
been kind of wild. So how COVID been treating you, and also your new profession? Has that? Well, you joined this profession, so you don't know how it was before, I guess. So
Right,
how's that
right,
been?
right. So I came out of the medical profession to go into these other fields, and the medical profession, um, man, COVID might have helped drive me out. It was just getting too crazy in there, and I wasn't necessarily treating people. I wasn't on the front lines of like the hospital workers treating people with COVID, but you know how everybody out there was taking precautions really seriously and things like that. So the fences, you know, were in place, the guidelines and all that stuff in the medical field. It made it tough. I still do some fill in the medical field, and it's still very, very strict, and it doesn't help the process. It doesn't help, particularly in my field. You know, when we talk to each other as humans, we like to interact not just with voice, but with our visuals. So we like to see people smile and stuff like that, and you can't. So it's, you know, because you're wearing masks, so it's difficult. It definitely helped kick my butt out of that field, I think. So, you know, in a positive way for me, but I know a lot of my peers that are still in that field, they're not having a whole lot of fun with it. That's for sure. Try to make the best of it, obviously, but with real estate, we see some precautions. We do what if you wanted to go see somebody's house and I was going to take you in there, we would do what they asked. If they didn't ask any COVID precautions, then we would just, you know, do our normal like hand sanitizer and stuff like that. Certain people that I meet, they prefer as soon as we meet, I have a mask on and all that stuff. So they, you know, the homeowners, it's really about respecting what they ask because we're entering into their home. So it's pretty much it's like when I look at a small business. If a small business has the sign on the window that says we require a mask, it's the same thing as requiring shirt and shoes. I don't own stock in that business. I don't own part of that business. So whether or not I believe in wearing a mask or whatever, you do it because you respect their business. Otherwise, really, you don't have any business being in there. They own it. They put the rules up. So
Yeah, man. And I'm glad you said that, man, because like my whole thing is, I see a lot of things on social media as far as like, how it was politicized and how people would say, oh, well, if you're wearing a mask, you a sheep and all this type of stuff, you do whatever they tell you to do. And it's like my thing is just like it's a professional courtesy. You know what I'm saying? And like I deal with customers all day, every day. You know what I'm saying I have over 100 stops a day, and I go into different businesses. And like some people have masks on, some don't, but I always got mine on. I don't feel that I'm a sheep. I feel that I'm just protecting my family. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's at home. So I'm glad you said that because it's like I think that some people really take it just a little too far. Like it's a serious issue, but I think that how they do this whole little thing of like, oh, well, I want to prove to everybody that I don't believe in this, so I'm gonna not wear a mask just to be difficult. So
yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Like I said, I mean, private business. If I own a place of business and you want to come in, but you don't want to follow my rules, uh, you know where the door is, you know, or vice versa. I know where your
Yeah.
door is to get out. So, respect is something we don't see a lot of anymore, but it's something that needs to come back, or it ain't gonna be pretty.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And you're a very respectable dude, man. Even when I see you in the comment section, because you are a guy that's you don't mind debating. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I mean like my thing is I don't mind it, but I think that it's a little more difficult to do as far as in the comment section. That's on one thing I tell our friend Sinclair, I tell him that all the time. I'm like, dude, why do you argue with people in a comment section? Because like saying it to someone and then reading it, they might take it a different way. So what make you be so opinionated on, jumping in comment sections and saying some of the things that you feel, even though it could be interpreted a different way than you said
Mood, man. Mood makes people want to jump in on comments.
it?
Yeah, you know, emotions make us do a lot of things, right? So whether it's a
Oh
good
yeah.
emotion or bad emotion, we act on those. And I've backed off of that stuff a lot lately because of the context. No matter what I type, it can be taken out of context because you can't hear my voice.
Hmm.
And I mean, we can read an entire book and feel like we understand it, and then go watch the play of that book and be like, I didn't even understand it at all when I read that book because I was so far out of context. So context is the big key there, and you don't get context on commenting on social media or writing anything. You can't really get context unless you know the person personally. Which, I mean, how many people that would comment on things, and then there's 30 different people that comment. How many of them do you know personally? One, two, maybe. So context is the full picture that we don't ever get.
Oh, most definitely, man. And that's why like I usually try to stay out of it. But you're right though. Sometimes it's mood. Like sometimes like I gotta get something off. And it's just
Mm.
like cause like there are so many misinformed people. And like I've noticed, throughout the last couple of years, really since like 2008, really like it's been a lot of misinformation being thrown around about a whole bunch of stuff. And it's just like I noticed like with the last like two elections, there's been friendships that has broken up. There has been, even families that has broken up because everything has been so divided. And one thing that I've noticed that you have been doing and what you've been saying is, you know, this is like the whole design. The whole design is to divide us. And it's just great to see someone mention that. And then also like how you even you commented on something that I was doing about Fred Hampton. And like Fred, like that's why he's like my now, like I said, I always say there's no disrespect to, Dr. Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or anything like that. But like Fred he found a way to, unite all people. And like that's like my whole thing. Like that's my whole motto of like I want everybody to it's never gonna happen, but like if we can all get into that lane of like the way that he thought and the way he was able to unite people, I thought that was so dope. And I think that it's dope that you do the same thing because like honestly, like just from reading things you say, like I don't know where you lean, but it don't seem like you really lean. It seems like you really in the middle, and it's like you for the betterment of the people, basically. That's how I take it.
So I try my best, and um, always got work to do. I try my best to reference a biblical way of life. I'm a religious man. So it's loving thy neighbor. It doesn't matter what the neighbor thinks, but you got to love the neighbor. Um,
Mhm.
it's simple. You got to love the neighbor. And there's going to be, no matter how many things that we disagree on, there's going to be things that we agree on. And one of the strengths that I think Fred Hampton had was, he didn't have social media, and some people would be like, "Well, that's a weakness." Now that's a strength because in order to get the word out and actually do the work, you had to be in front of the people.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that a lot of people disagree on social media and act like they're ready to kill each other or go ahead and get you out of my family. We're not family anymore or whatever. Delete me if all that stuff. Versus if me and that person were standing in front of each other, we'll get through that conversation. It might be heated and heavy, but by the time we walk away, we could be shaking hands or hugging or whatever because we found the same road. It took us forever to get there, but we found the same road to try to move forward to a solution to the issue that we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's a definitely a dope way to see it, man. Because like it's been bad, and like my thing is, I've known that when it comes to you know the 45th president and everything, like I haven't, I can say I haven't had a lot of positive things to say about him, but like at the same time, like he actually, because like I mean I started the podcast while he was president, so I mean I found a lot of comedic moments, a lot of funny moments, but there also was some things that I didn't feel was funny, or some of the things that were said, and I think the way I came about it was I think that what people need to realize that just like people, there's no such thing as a perfect person, and there's no such thing as a perfect politician.
Mm.
And I think that what people need to do is like not, because my thing is I never understood how some people can like ride like so hard for somebody. And it's just like, well, do you agree with everything they say? Because I guess what I'm trying to say is I never understood how you could like agree with everything somebody say. You know what I mean? Like it's just been like this country it's been so wild. And I think that what people I think the great thing about it is that there are people like you in the world, because like I don't think you get like your importance. That's one of the reasons why I've been wanting to get you on for so long, because we just been having some schedule issues and all this type of stuff because you're a busy man. Um, but like I just want to say I just want people to understand like you is a perfect person to bring business to as far as your real estate business. Like you are a type person that I would love to see get a lot of commission, because like you just overall just a good guy, man. Overall a good guy. And like I said, before I had if there's unless there's anything else that you want to get off your chest real quick before I said this. Was there anything else you wanted to get off your chest?
One thing real quick. First off, thanks. I appreciate that, man. It's as you know, getting pushed by other people, motivated to do something that you want to do out there on your own. It's not easy, and the support is uh, beyond what most people can understand. Just jumping back, you said something about not there's no perfect politicians. I haven't found a politician that's ever not been a good professional liar. So got to keep that in mind. I mean, at the end of the day, um, what do we work for? We work for us, ours, and our community, right? I mean,
Hmm.
how many perfect politicians are out there working for Greer, South Carolina? Okay, so if you get down to Greer, South Carolina, how many perfect politicians are out there working for your family or my family? Zero.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, we're doing it for us, our families, and our community. And none of them are doing it, but they make everything sound like they want to do it. So people, not politicians, people have to be together and make the decisions and make the moves. The politicians aren't going to do a thing for us. That's just the way it is, and I think we all know that. But we let things like social media, the context of the way things come across a keyboard and stuff like that, divide us, and it's a dangerous position to be in when we're supposed to be uniting as a community. I guarantee you, we all can find a common road somewhere to fix. Even if we were able to just fix one problem, that's one less problem.
Oh yeah. Like man, like the thing is like yo, I said this before, like we all here together. You know what I'm saying? Like the best thing to do is to get along, because like my Uncle Washington say all the time, like it's one man, one vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as the people, if we all came together and just figured out some of the things that was more similar, because like it's not about race. You know what I'm saying? It's they turned it into a class thing. So it's like everybody that's in that class need to figure out like we need to let bygones be bygones. Really honestly, like fuck all the bullshit. Like what's the best thing that can get our families to go forward?
Right,
And it's not race that's slowing
right,
us down. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Yeah.
so I think that people really need to understand that, man. But like I said, man, I need you to plug all of your stuff, man, as far as, the real estate place you work at, where people can find you on social media, all those type things, man.
All right, cool. I appreciate it. So I am with Casey Group Real Estate in Greer, and you can find me on Facebook at Nathan Goddard, Realtor. You can get in touch with me. It's got my phone number and all that good stuff. However you want to get in touch with me, even just for any questions, I can help you with. Find answers for whatever that you want to find. And I'm not in it all for making commissions, but to help enlighten people If they just have simple questions on financing and stuff like that, I can get you with the right people for that. I don't do that, but I can get you with the right people. So connections, resources, anything like that, just give me a holler.
That's what's up, man. Like I wish you nothing but success, man. Because like you've always been a real one, man. It's been behind the scenes, but I think that's what it is. I think that's the best way to be because I think that when people do things like just to be like out in front street, like I want people to know I done this. You know what I'm saying? Like they do it like they're just like likes. Like some people will, like stuff just for the fact because they want people to see them. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
you never, yeah, yeah,
Speaking,
you never done
speaking of
that,
just
man.
speaking of just liking likes, aren't the entrepreneurs, aren't all of us out there wishing we had 4,000 likes on our our posts or whatever like that, and that's when we seem to catch all the hate, man. I'm not
Oh
liking
yeah,
that post. That's not going to benefit me any. But man, I could go out there and act crazy as a hoot and take my shirt off and swing it around and get 40 shares or whatever. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. Like my like my guy Casey, man, like the guy that does all the music for the podcast. Like I was just telling him because like this podcasting thing, man, is really up and down. It can be an emotional roller coaster, man, when it comes to support. And he was just like, "Yo," he was like, "Well, you need to do something that'll make you go viral." He said, "Why don't you just go on the podcast and scream how you're a Trump supporter and all this stuff?" And I was like, "I said, man, I can't do that, man." I said, "One thing I'm never gonna do, I'm never gonna sell my soul. You know what I'm saying? To go viral. Like,
Yeah,
I when I do the podcast, I do." You know what I'm saying? Like I'm never beside myself. I'm always me. Like if somebody meet me out in public and they only heard me on a podcast, I'm the same guy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I don't think that going viral, what I'm saying, to get on, I don't think that's the way. I just think that I'm gonna go with my personality the way that I am, and I'm gonna roll with it that way.
I hear you. Yeah, definitely. Just stay in the lane, man. Stay in the lane.
Definitely. Oh yes, sir, man. And look, man, I appreciate all your support, man. I will hope you will continue to support. I'm definitely gonna put this out, man. Hopefully you hear something about it, man. Because like you're a real one, and I let people know that you are. I appreciate your time because you're a busy man. I hear your family in the background,
Mhm.
and so I'm gonna let you go ahead and get back to them because I ain't trying to get you in trouble. Your wife needs you to go to the store, man.
I hear you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Ain't no problem, man. I appreciate you, Nate, man.
All right, man. Take care, bro.
All right, you too. All right, everybody. That was episode 37 of the podcast. I appreciate Nate for coming on with me. I hope that everybody will go check out his Facebook page and the realtor place that he works at. Also, man, shout out to his brother, man. For before I get up out of here, shout out to Noah, man. Noah is a very, very talented dude when it comes to the art. And before I get out of here, man, shout out to Casey. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy, man. Shout out to Uncle Washington. Shout out to my guy Scoots Bronson. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jamar Dean. Shout out to Mark. Shout out to Sinclair. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody's support. And until the next time, this was episode 37 of the 28 Minutes or Less. And I'm out.